Hello and welcome to Twin Tigers Data. My name's Thomas Kistner and let's get started. Today we will be talking about the awesome, very incredible, and kind of deadly fighter. Who are they? Well, they're more of the ultimate tacticians. They're the bravest warriors that you'll find on the battlefield. And they are the most versatile fighters of all because they are not restricted to one type of fighting style. Sometimes they're not restricted to one fighting style. They can choose more. They are one of the most basic and easiest class choices to play besides the barbarian and a few other ones that you can come across. They are masters in almost anything that they can pick up and fight with. What can they do? Well, they master one fighting style, and by fighting style, I mean protecting an ally, wearing armor, wielding two weapons, wielding a large weapon, archery, and so on, stuff like that. Nothing like being specifically specialized in wielding a polearm or a greatsword specifically. Now, they can wield martial and simple weapons, so they can wield anything that D&D has created and will create due to the fact that in 5th edition, they have not created something that in 3.5 was called exotic weapons. They wear all types of armor, so they can wear something from a pair of leather armor to full plate, which personally I believe full plate is the best armor to wear if you want to be completely very hard to move, however, but yeah, still very hard to hit. You have the chance to regain hit points in the middle of a fight. Eventually, by around level 18, 19, or maybe around 16, you're able to attack 4 times per round, and that's before you use any of your feats that you may apply, depending on whether the DM allows that ability. You are able to reroll a few of your saving throws, and also you gain additional actions per round. So, on top of those 4 attacks, you can also, now this is my personal ruling, I believe you can use this ability called Action Surge by the end of your leveling up about 3 or 4 times. So, with my ruling, I would say you can attack anywhere from 7 to 8 times. The Battlemaster. Now, this specifically is... Now, the fighters' specializations are only called specializations. They don't have a special word prior to it. They're just called what they are. Battlemasters gain certain maneuvers that allow you to empower your allies and also empower yourself. They using a series of D8s, which you call superiority dice, which give them a bonus to, say, maybe their AC or to their damage or to try and help them hit. You gain proficiency with one type of artisan's tools. Now, artisan's tools are stuff like brewmaster, brewing tools, or say crafting, blacksmith tools, leatherworking tools, stuff like that. And also, if you spend 10 rounds observing or interacting with one creature outside of battle, you'll gain a few stats on the creature. Now, this means that you will, if you're in the middle of a fight and you want to gain a specific source of some information about the creature, you're going to have to stand in the back for about 10 rounds while your allies do all the fighting and you learn 2 things about the creature. However, this is very helpful later on, but if you're ever going to only see this creature once, like say the Demogorgon, you're not going to want to do that. Next up, we have the Champion. These guys are able to crit more often. At first, instead of having to roll 20s all the time, you have to either roll a 19 or a 20. However, towards the end, you can roll anywhere between 18 and 20. This is still a small gap. However, it is very helpful when you're trying to do it. And this roll has to be on the die. It cannot be a total. Now, you add half of your proficiency bonus, so say your proficiency bonus is a 4, so you add 2. Now always round down if it's an odd number, so if it was 5, you also still add 2. to all of your strength, dex, and con checks. You can jump farther than before, meaning you can jump instead of your strength score, you can also now jump your strength score plus your strength modifier. You gain a second battle style. So say you were a great weapon master, so you could wield a pole arm or a great sword better. You decide to take up archery now, or maybe armor, so that then you can gain a +1 to your AC. Honestly, I mostly go for the +1 AC every time, but anyways, you can choose however you want. And if you're under half hit points, you regain 5 plus your Constitution modifier in HP at the start of every single round. Now, the Eldritch Knight and the last one inside the player's handbook. There are a few others in 2 other books. However, these guys are the only spellcasting fighter class. They gain spells specifically from the wizard's spell list. You become bonded with only 2 weapons, and essentially this is what happens after you become bonded with these weapons in spending an hour-long ritual doing this. You cannot be disarmed while you're holding this weapon, and also you draw it as a bonus action. Now, also, I've seen this happen and also have allowed it. Say you have bonded yourself to a throwing axe. You throw the throwing axe and then recall it back to your hand quickly. This honestly does not break any of the rules, as far as I can tell. You can cast a cantrip and also attack in the same round. However, the attack is a bonus action and you cannot do anything else. So you can't use those 4 attacks in the same round. Now, your attacks undercut resistances, and also that creature receives disadvantage on the very next save that he has to do. You can teleport 30 feet after or before you use that ability that I told you about called Action Surge. And eventually, at the very end of being an Eldritch Knight, you can cast a spell with a level and attack as a bonus action. Now, let me explain this one. What I mean by cast a spell with a level, there are 2 different types of spells really in my head. There's the cantrips, which are, you can cast these whenever you want, all day long, go ahead, go crazy. However, then there are the spells that have levels, and these are limited to how many times you can cast them. For example, wizards can only cast 1 9th level spell per day. So, because you can only cast that 1 9th level spell, however, I believe the Eldritch Knight only has access to 6th level spells maximum, and anyways, they can only cast 1 of those. So let's just keep with Eldritch Knight, actually. You cast that 1 6th level spell now, and you can attack as a bonus action. That's what I mean by this. Next up, inside Xanathar's Guide to Everything, first up we have the Arcane Archer. These guys gain proficiency in either Arcana or Nature, and also they can learn 1 spell, either Druidcraft or Prestidigitation. You learn new ways and spells that you can imbue upon your arrows. Bonus action, you can re-roll an attack that you missed trying to hit an enemy. And also, you regain 1 of your shots if you are out after rolling for initiative. The Cavalier. Now, this one had a lot of abilities, which is why I had to expand its area. Now, you gain proficiency with 1 out of 4 skills, or you can choose to instead learn 1 language. You can mount or dismount at 5 feet now instead of taking up half of your movement speed in order to do it. So when you dismount, you can run up from 25 feet if you're a medium-sized creature, and then mount onto your horse immediately, or you can dismount from your horse and run 25 feet away to try and hit somebody. Also, if you're falling from 10 feet and you're not unconscious, you land on your feet. However, if it's higher than 10 feet, you are not going to land on your feet. You're going to have to do some crazy acrobatics to pull that off. Now, mark one foe, and they get disadvantage on all attacks except those against you. You can make a melee attack against that foe with an advantage, and also add half your fighter level to the damage. So, and I believe this is the same thing as always with most of the stuff, you round it down. So if you're a level 11 fighter, you have to add 5 points of damage to your attack. Now, you roll a d8 and add it to the AC of your own or one of your allies as someone is trying to be hit. Attack of opportunities on any enemy that is within range of you. So sometimes enemies are allowed to move, say, over 1 square if they're inside the same area of, as long as they're inside your attack range. This is a normal rule. As long as they're inside your attack range, you cannot make an attack of opportunity against them. However, this ability allows you to do it, and also reduce their movement speed to 0 if you hit. If you move 10 feet and attack, you can try to knock them prone. However, they have to make a Constitution saving throw to negate it. And also, you can possibly use a special reaction to do an attack of opportunity. However, you do not gain attack of opportunities on top of this attack of opportunity. The Samurai. Now, you gain proficiency in 1 of 4 skills, or you can take up a language, just like the Cavalier. Now, you can bonus action, gain advantage on attacks, and gain temporary hit points. And also, just like the Arcane Archers, special arrow ability, you can re-roll it. You gain another use at each initiative. Why am I trying to say re-roll at every initiative? Anyways, you add your wisdom modifier to persuasion checks on top of gaining that charisma modifier. So if you, say, have an 8 charisma, however, a 12 wisdom, with this ability, now it's a +0 instead of a -1. You gain proficiency in wisdom saving throws. However, you can choose between intelligence or charisma if you already have wisdom saving throws as a proficiency. And also, if you have advantage already, you can remove it to deal more damage to your enemy. When you fall to 0 but not outright dead, you can make an immediate extra turn before you fall and go unconscious. However, if you're hit again, you still suffer the 2 failed saving throws. Third saving throw still kills you, and if you're not healed a little bit before being taken down, then you're still gonna drop. Now, from the Sword Coast Adventurer's Guide, there is what is known as the Purple Dragon Knight. These guys are restricted to specifically a background known as the Knight Order of Cormyr. Now, there is a specific background. I believe they require the one from either Sword Coast Adventurer's Guide, or it's the one from the noble variant known as the Knight in order to use. Now, you can pick 3 creatures that can hear you within 60 feet, and they can hear and see you and that are within 60 feet of you, and they regain your level in hit points immediately. You gain 2 times proficiency in persuasion, and regular proficiency inside a choice of one more skill. You can cause an ally within 60 feet of you who can see or hear you to reactionary attack as you action surge. And also, pretty much as long as an ally can see you or hear you within 60 feet of you, they gain the benefits of the ability known as Indomitable, which allows you to re-roll your failed saving throws. What should you be? Well, after playing 2 levels, just like most of the class choices that you have, what specialization would work the most for your character? What does he do? What does your character do a lot? How does your character act? Does he act more like a champion or does he act more like a tactician? If he acts more like a tactician, then he should go with a Battlemaster. However, if he's more interested in the magical arts, then he should go with the Eldritch Master. Now, I will be talking in a later video on spell casting and how exactly the Eldritch Master might not be a good idea. The Eldritch Knight might not be a good idea if you're going to multiclass. What works best with your party? Does your party need more of a defender, or do they need someone who can kind of help them out around the world? Now, how do you work your own playstyle? This is a question more like, kind of like, how does your playstyle end up working with your character? This class is really more of a basic class, and you can pretty much do whatever you want with it. However, if you really want to try to be the best that you can be, I suggest that you try to go with something simple until you've learned all the ropes and know how exactly to play this character. Until then, you should probably stick with something basic. For example, the Battlemaster, the Champion, or the Eldritch Knight. Thank you for watching. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to share my awful, no good, very bad videos, go ahead. I don't care. I'm an open book. Please remember to play safe, stay okay, and have fun. Adios.